What? Okay.
Wait, who goes first?
What?
Hi, I'm Bob Nelson.
I'm Tracey White.
And I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast. Hey, yeah. Clickety click. Welcome.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that's pretty nerdy. Hey, you guys, welcome. We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
Cheers.
Cheers and cheers. All right.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, whatever.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
In
Wait, that's
October.
not- Hanukkah.
Christmas.
Well, all the Christmas stuff. So, real quick before we get started, on Christmas, Joy and I went to see if we could find some more spider rings on Saturday and for the Glow and Go. Went to a Dollar Tree store and there was like this much Halloween stuff and everything else was Christmas already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
I may have to pick up a few more glow bracelets, but I think we're going to be all right. All right. Well, let's get started. Let's jump into this thing. I know that you are coughing and what have you, so I'll start with you. Tracey White.
Coughing and hacking.
and
Still trying to recover. Been sick for a week. And yeah, it's kind of been up and down, but it's kind of going back down again.
Yeah.
It's feeling a little worse than, yesterday
Ugh.
or the day before. But, slept better last night, oddly, than the last entire week. But outside of that, things are going well. It was a great weekend, back at work.
Back in the swing of things.
Typical Monday.
Yep.
Yeah. And and then the only thing out of the norm that happened this weekend is we got those 3 turtles out of our koi pond.
Turtles are gone.
And back at Morey's house, and I felt bad because they weren't really ready for it, but we needed to get, because this cold snap.
You mean
out.
Morey wasn't ready or the turtles weren't ready?
Morey wasn't ready.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
For him, and so it's kind of forced. You got to take him, and I felt bad about it. And he was like, "Well, you've been asking me to come get him for so long." And it made me feel better, but I still felt bad. But we needed to get the pond winterized.
Yeah, right.
And
cold is in.
and everything. So, huh?
I said, yeah, the cold is here.
Yeah. And so, but that's all good now. Just in time, all the leaves are dropping, and we had it covered with the net for a while, and then took the net out and put the net back on after getting the turtles out. So, everything else is good.
Home tips on the Compass Conversation.
If you need to know anything about a koi pond, call me and I'll direct you to
Koi
Kathy.
It's beautiful out there, man. It's always so good.
It is, yeah.
Really sorry for
The cough?
the coughing all the way through.
Well, hey, at least you're not trying to preach a message, a sermon on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's been rough for a couple of weeks.
It got you in a song.
Got me in a song. That was a surprise. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, we're going to move along here. Bob Nelson. I almost said White again, like I did like 2 years ago.
Here we go again.
My friend from college.
They just don't know me yet.
Who are you?
Yeah.
How are you?
Unlike everybody else, I'm not coughing. But today, for a good chunk of the day, I felt kind of congested. And I'm like, no, don't go this way. Because everybody says it starts with an allergies, and then goes all the way the wrong way. So, but hoping that it kind of stays away. I feel pretty okay right now. Hopefully it'll stay that way. But yeah, I'm doing great. It was an easy day at work. Surprisingly easy. Especially after last week, I only worked 2 days because we did the staff retreat, which was great, and then I took an extra day off, which was not as great. So we're going to talk about pet peeves in a minute. I had worked 2 10-hour days to make up for the time that I took off. That's the way it always goes for you punished for taking time off.
Oh,
so. But on the flip side, the pet peeves. Yesterday, the conversation starter is that's what it was. Yeah, it'll still work. Yeah. So plumbing and car repairs. because they never go the way they're supposed to.
Now it's
Never.
more expensive, take longer.
Yeah, more tools that you have to buy, which that's not so bad. But you still have to go get them, and
All this, and we had a flat tire.
And I still
on
haven't-
staff
I
retreat.
still haven't taken that to the end, so I just haven't had time.
Borrowed time.
Yeah, well, I decided to swap my brakes out on the front for the front part, the front brakes of my car. Yeah, there we go. And it was it's usually like a 2-hour job, 3 hours at most. And that's when you're goofing off on it. I was not goofing off. It was like a 6-hour day, and I had to break out the angle grinder to zip out the fourth screw that didn't want to come out. So,
wow.
Yes, it's just a little itty bitty screw, but it was holding on the rotor to the rest of the tire assembly, and
That sounds horrible.
it was horrible.
Wow.
And it didn't really want to stop there, but I made it stop there. So
That's the whole point of fixing the brakes.
true.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
There you have it.
But yeah, we had a great time at the with the retreats. We got a lot done in a very short amount of time, and I'm looking forward to this next year and some of the things that we came up with.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where we're constantly trying to. It's just the nature of the way our church works right now, and we'll probably work forever this way. But with 2 different jobs, you've got a job, I've got another job, but we're also, at least I am kind of full-time. I'm doing 2 full-time jobs. Yep. But anyway, that just because of the nature of that, it means that you can sometimes only throw the tracks out a little ways to keep going, throw them out a little bit farther, keep going. So it's nice to be able to think through, pray through, talk through, calendar through the next year, make sure things are locked in and loaded, and with some flexibility, obviously, but just be able to talk through those things and Bob's role and all of the things there. So it was good.
It was a strategic alignment event. That's what we call
We
it.
aligned our strategy.
For the next year. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. There was certainly some of that, but we were also just planning through, and I already know about Christmas of next year. But
Okay.
how about that?
Ah,
How about
So-
Christmas this year?
No, we don't have any idea. I'm just kidding. No, that's planned as well. So,
yeah, we
interestingly enough,
stuffed that in.
and again, it kind of morphed over to me here a little bit, but yeah, we've actually we know what we're doing this Christmas. Christmas is actually following Christmas Day is a Sunday. So, yeah, spoiler alert, we are doing our Christmas Eve service, but we are not meeting in person on Christmas morning. We're going to have a small pajama gathering online
Okay.
on Christmas Day for those who want to join us. So that's how that's going to work. But anyhow, anything else?
Yeah, no, life is just pretty darn okay. So
That's good.
Is this British understatement, or are you?
it's
great.
totally British understanding.
Okay, so things are great.
Without the accent.
Right. Yeah,
Don't even try.
I can throw it in there.
Nope.
Australian, really. How are you doing, Johnny?
Why, thanks for asking. It's always nice to be asked. Took the pressure off Tracy. He was all nervous last time. Oh, well. No, I'm fine. It's been, this thing that you have, I had also in spades for several weeks, really. I said a week and a half earlier, but I really think it was a full 2 weeks. And lost my voice in the process, and then kept quiet. A lot of liquids and allergy medicine, as well as things like Mucinex and stuff like that, which really did help. And had just enough voice to preach and make it through. I had Michael join us that one Sunday, so I could save my voice a bit, and that was great. And then, but yeah, that's been a challenge, but mostly over that now. I still have remnants of it still, because it's hard to get rid of during the fall. I'll probably cough once.
Crazy. It's crazy windy as it's been.
Yeah.
It's been crazy windy, but yeah, good week. We went on staff retreat starting last Sunday afternoon, came back Tuesday morning, and then Leona and I got on a plane Tuesday afternoon and flew to Philadelphia So that was kind of crazy. There was one moment while we were going through the lines, and there is an airline that we love that I'm not going to criticize publicly. Man, they were Mickey Mouse this time. But anyhow, that airline. Anyhow, but as you're going through the security line, unrelated to that particular airline, it was pretty funny. There were so many people traveling, and we looked across a couple of aisles, and we saw our friend Sam from school.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, that's Sam. Hey, Sam. She's like, hey, I know you. And we're like, I mean, seriously, we're yelling across over there. Where are you going? I'm going to California. Where are you going? Going to Philly. So that was kind of fun. But anyhow,
it's like running into a barista at the Starbucks at the building that I work at in New Orleans. I'm not kidding. And she was on the flight back with us. So.
Anyway, well, we did have a good visit. Hung out in Philly all, until Saturday morning, basically. And I got to see her grandkids and Matthew and Danny and Danielle. In case you're curious. But yeah, then came back and into the subject. Got to clarify these days. So.
In a sad world.
There's a cough. And then, but I only want to tell one school thing today, all right? Just one, all right? The whole day, busy, swamped, all kinds of stuff going on. But I also, on these Mondays, we do this intramural thing after school. We were actually outside and did kickballs, probably our last time to be outside. And we had kinders and first grade, and I think third grade, I can't remember. But either way, all the younger ones, right, who still have not picked up on how to play kickball. All right, so we spent several weeks letting them all kick, right, getting the idea that you kick the ball and you run to first, and then not just sit down and go to sleep or whatever, or run back to the thing. So they've all been kicking. So this is the first day we actually put them on the field and kicking and back and forth. And so I had this group out there, and I was telling them, these were all kindergarten. And I'm telling them, okay, everybody understands, right? So you're going to keep them. You want to try and catch the ball. If they kick the ball, what are you going to do? You're going to try and catch it, right? And if you do catch it, you're going to try and hit them with the ball, waist down before they get there. And everybody's like, okay, everybody understands, right? Okay, so spread out here. That's what they did, all right? And then the first kick, rolls that ball, kicks the ball, okay, run. And I'm not kidding you. Everybody on the field started running the bases. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I'm like, awesome. What are you doing?
Just keep going. Keep.
Like, no, it's all wrong.
Keep going. Keep.
Yeah. It was very funny though, and even after explaining it again, there was somebody who kept running.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you run after you. Anyway, done and done with that, for goodness sake.
Again, that's kind of how our society works.
Yeah.
Explain it.
Nobody listens.
And it's like,
Are you listening? You have any idea what I said?
So I would have been second grade by this point, but one of my early school memories was a game of kickball. And I remember I had my Boston Red Sox hat on because my dad was a Boston Red Sox fan, and I had no idea. But I kicked it well, and I knew exactly what to do. And I don't remember, but we played like wiffle ball and stuff. So as a family, so I think there's a disconnect here.
Yeah.
But second grade, not kindergarten, maybe there was a difference.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was strange the other day, but. Anyway, lots more I could share about
it. It wasn't kickball, it was scatterball.
Scatterball.
Against the wall.
Yeah.
Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
We did that too.
That
Scatterball.
Too. A lot of use of that.
Yeah.
Well,
it was with the rubber.
Yep.
When it hits you in the face.
You have not known terror until that red ball is throttling down your throat.
Yes.
And you're talking about not the small one, you're talking about the kickball size ball, right?
Oh, yeah.
Us too.
They were great.
Not that big when they're coming at you.
Yeah, there was no like dodgeball ball. It was boom.
Slaughter ball.
And it would ring when it hit you too.
Did, Yep. Yep.
So when my ears, oh my soul.
Oh, the good old days.
Were they though? I don't know. Anyhow, so
I enjoyed it.
We made it.
Yeah.
But good old days.
Drinking out of the water hose and
man.
playing in the mud.
That's why we have problems. I I'm just
Maybe so.
I'm only kidding. I'm looking at my watch thinking, all right, we've been chattering for a little while now.
We have. Yeah.
But we have a lot going on, absolutely for sure. So what would you guys like to talk about? Have a conversation about before we wrap up.
We can talk about the past to look into the future. So, yes, yesterday,
Or parents
to prepare for next Monday, we stuffed all the bags with candy and stuff. And
That's true.
it was a great time. Had a blast. One problem: that smell in the small hallway of all that chocolate gets kind of.
Oh, I can see it. A lot of candy, man.
There's a ton of
It's
candy.
gonna be great.
That was
Low and
no
go
fun.
on Halloween night.
Yep. Yeah, had a blast. And Meadow stayed around to help. Grayson helped.
Yeah.
Towards the end, he was a lot of fun, but he would grab a bag and dump it out, and then maybe put it back together. But then I'd ask Meadow to pack it back up, and she did that. It was great. It was
Yeah,
fun.
Meadow was great too. I mean, she looks so stinking cute in her Compass shirt,
Yep.
sized proportionately for her.
Yep.
And she was also doing a little babysitting with Grayson.
Yeah.
Too,
Yeah.
which is pretty good for a 4-year-old,
Yeah.
you know, helping the 1.5-year-old or however old he is.
Tay was awesome. I got to have a
Taylor was
really
awesome, yeah.
great conversation with her on the way I gave her a ride back home. And she had some I was like, hey, I want to know your perspective on some things. And she gave such a great perspective. And I just really enjoyed her take on things from the Christian point of view.
The new Taylor.
Right, yeah.
Love it.
As opposed to her previous path,
Sure.
that she doesn't really hide. She's made this big turnaround, but I just love the way she talked about anxiety and dealing with anxiety and how she's doing that with her, and she's in a group, and they're going through a book together and stuff like that.
Oh, good.
But one of her tools in her tool belt is she's got a playlist of Christian songs.
Oh, yeah.
And anytime she starts feeling a little blah or off, she'll just randomly start that playlist, and the first song that plays is the song she needs to hear.
Oh, wow.
And it's foolproof so far. So it's just
good.
something really great that she does. And she talks about really learning how to pray, which was something that we went through.
Yeah, good.
Fairly recently with the lesson
stirring my
series.
heart in good ways.
And she talked about praying and then how much that really does help whenever she can actually make that personal connection with God. So
that makes me so
That's
happy.
awesome.
I just can't tell you how happy that makes me. We love her so much. We always have,
Yeah.
and through all of her struggles. And
yeah.
I will just share this real fast. And Taylor, if you're watching, which I know you're not, but we love you.
I love
So-
you too. Well, when we
We're going. But my friend Al Barrera, who for a while was a church planting catalyst and encouragement to me in the early days of Compass, he actually came and visited. You guys might remember. I had him pray at the end of one service one time. He was with us actually in church in the hall one time even. And he met Taylor. And I remember in those early days, telling him about Taylor and kind of where she was and her faith journey and everything. And he just remembered.
Yeah.
And so when, and he's not at Church Planting Catalyst anymore now. He's on staff at a church in Colorado Springs now. But that was a few years back.
Uh-huh.
And when I was able to baptize her, I made note to send a quick message to Al. And I said, Al, you may or may not remember this girl I was praying for and we were encouraging, named Taylor. And anyway, I want you to know that, she has fully placed her faith in Jesus now, and I baptized her baptizing her this Sunday, or I baptized her last Sunday.
Yeah.
And he shot right away, yes, I remember her. Man, thank you so much for sharing that with me. And he celebrated her life change as
that's
well.
great.
So anyway, I just wanted to share that real fast. It's kind of fun.
It's another testament to prayer in and of itself, and how we pray for our children,
Yes.
and their children, and prayers are answered.
Prayers are.
In God's time. They are certainly answered. So
Yeah. So that just makes me so happy because she is
Yeah.
very different right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's been really cool seeing her growth, and it's been like exponential in such a good way.
Yeah.
So sometimes you see it with folks where they seem to change like overnight, and you fear that, and that's definitely not with Taylor. She's
Oh, right,
yeah.
because the roots have been, we've been
Yeah.
cultivating for so long.
Exactly.
This is we're seeing sort of the culmination of a lot of prayers and a lot of encouragement.
Definitely got a happier heart than before. What I really seriously enjoy the most, though, is because we're old guys and we have our points of view and everything, and so getting that young generation, that's the age group of our children, my children. Yours are a little older.
Oh man, I'm ancient.
But in trying to figure out where they're at and how we can reach them, it's really nice to have that fresh perspective.
And Taylor's only what now? She's only 20. What,
20
years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, that took a fun turn,
But it kind of segues nicely into the message yesterday,
It does.
which was
Yeah.
about our goal as a parent. Our thing is to make sure that we're raising our children up in the faith, and making sure that they've got a shot at whatever it is that they're supposed to be, pursuing, and that being pursuing Jesus and a full-hearted faith. So that's
It breaks my heart when they don't follow the wisdom of those, and it's not there might be a child that is making different decisions than the parent wishes them to, and
Right.
the parent is like, I really wish you would listen to me. I understand it. I had to find my own way to. The stakes weren't as high, but my goodness, it's just you want to shake the baby,
shake
right?
Yeah. Right.
But whenever it turns around to, it's a little disheartening sometimes whenever they don't want to listen to the parent and the grandparent, and then you're like, oh my goodness, did I put my folks through that? Did I, did I challenge our faith as much, and did my dad, have nights like Kathy and I have, or other parents might have, with dealing with their kids too. Where you just want to smack them up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm in a weird position because my dad he found his faith just maybe 2 years before I did. So we're almost kind of on a similar path in that respect, but and he was raised sort of religiously back in the day, but he abandoned that pretty much as quickly as he left the house. Not that he was an awful guy or anything. He was a pretty moral individual, but yeah, there's a definite, you can see where that disconnect, how it like flowed downstream very, very badly and created a lot of problems for our family. So the fact that you have the faith and everything, and this goes for anybody, even if you're just starting out as a Christian, wherever you are, that's where God's got you, and wherever your kids are, same thing. They're going to have that possibility, and that they might never go that way. But if you don't set that example, you're not there trying to encourage them even later in life and whatnot. If they don't have that, what are they going to do? Like you said in your message, they're going to make a choice.
Right. Yeah.
But if they don't know what to choose from,
I almost obnoxiously said that. That is the thing, and I understand that nobody wants to. We're afraid if we force too much on them, that's going to make them turn away. But if you're a hard-hearted and mean person, I guess maybe. But if you're just for sure,
that'll work.
Or if you're so uptight and weird that you know what I mean. There are people who are too much in this regard.
Sure.
But most of us, I don't think, fall in that category. We just care about our kids and we want them to know, and so it's like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to church. Come with us. Yeah. Up to an age, there comes a point where you do have to soften some of that, but. I think I was trying to say that someone is going to speak into the life of your kid, right? And they are going to decide ultimately what that is, but I want to at least know that I have given in every way I can, the way I speak, the way I live, and share with them and tell them the truth. That I'm praying one day, one night, maybe 5 years from now, they're going to go, you know what, the only person who ever really loved me, really cared, and they were consistent, and they meant it, and they weren't perfect, but they were right, and that's going to soften their heart, and they're going to turn. So either way, it's just like, yeah, they're going to decide on their own no matter what. At least point them to the truth, you know. So that was my point in that.
If you don't try to train them up in the way they're going to go, they got not a whole lot of chance. You know, I was fortunate in the fact that I married a gal that had a very strong faith, even though she shouldn't have married me. Don't do that. Joy and I will.
To be clear, do not marry Bob.
Yeah. Also,
all right, he's taken.
But yeah, so don't
whatever you do.
Don't think your relationship.
Handsome as he is.
Don't think that. Appreciate that.
Missionary dating is bad. I did not do that.
Missionary dating is a horrible idea, but she did, and it worked. God redeemed our relationship in an incredible way.
That's wonderful.
But yeah, it's that entire. There's a lot of things that went into that, but that might not be the situation that your family, if you don't work on things, they get into that. So yeah. It just try.
I was trying to be sensitive to, because not only do we have people in the room who are struggling with their own children right now and praying that God would bring them either back and their kids are in a prodigal kind of state. Not only that, but we also have people in the room who have lost their children, who have passed away.
Yep.
And so sometimes just talking about parenting and children can make somebody who's lost their child, that can bring up some difficult pain as well. So I was trying to be sensitive to that as much as possible, but also to try and be hopeful in that as well. So yeah, it's a tough one. Like I said, fellow strugglers, right, is the idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important that we do, make these things kind of clear, particularly for the families who have really young kids.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Jake is not here, but I don't think he would mind me sharing what he said to me afterwards about this. And that was like, and maybe you can correct me on this, Jake, later, but it was something along the lines of, even as I'm thinking about all this, because I said, your ultimate responsibility for raising children in faith and leading them to Christ and godliness isn't just the church. We're sort of the backup.
Yeah.
It's the parents.
Right.
It's the family. Right. At least that's who God is holding, and commanding to lead your family this way. And he was like, man, my thought was, the whole time as we were listening through, was like, man, don't let me screw this up. Please help me not to screw this up.
And both you and I said the same thing. You're gonna screw it up.
You're gonna screw it up.
But
somewhere along
it's like
the
a feeling
way,
of pressure, but it's like help me do this right. But that attitude alone will ensure that you're gonna do fine.
And that's, and Jake and Bob and I joked about you're going to screw up anyway, but when you do the math, you're going to end up more in the positive than the negative.
Yeah. So, just thinking about it right up front, knowing that, I'm going to screw it up, but remembering grace.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge thing that people forget. They go, oh my gosh, they put all the weight on their shoulders that's not really theirs to bear in one respect, in the sense that, if I had a child that was, that just coming up, which I don't, but if I did, and because I'm 51 now, and I've got 2 grandkids. Okay, if I think of my granddaughters, their salvation is not my responsibility. That's God's responsibility. If I think it's my responsibility, that's a weight that I don't need to be bearing.
That's true.
But at the same time, I'm partnering with God and to make sure that they have every tool that they can, every chance that they get for knowing who He is and going that direction.
Yes. Well. Wait, are we already on?
Well, we're getting close. Did you have a thought to follow up on that? Because I had another quote.
I did, and I lost it when you looked at your watch. It's okay. It'll come back if it's important. It'll come back.
Now.
Nope. Powerful thought. What were you going to say, Tracy?
No, it's just one of the verses in the beginning.
Oh, that's
you
wonderful.
have to check out our door now. It says the
On the
Lord,
doorpost.
the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the doorpost. What does it say?
Nice.
On your house and city gates, but no, but I mean, I'm joking about that. But the thought of literally doing that has crossed my mind.
Sure, why not?
We have things that are symbols of our faith throughout the house, here and there and
Oh, we
everything.
had this
the
conversation.
peace, joy, and love, and all that. But
Yeah.
why
Scripture.
not just go ahead and put it on the door?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. But my question is, the sentence is, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, right? Which is, in English, a really weird put together sentence. So for clarification, the Lord is our God. The Lord is our God, right? The Lord is one. There's only one God.
That is correct.
And that's our God, right?
That is right.
What that means. So in case anybody was,
Yeah, there is one God.
going, that's not really good English.
Yeah. Lord our God, He is one God,
Yes.
and this, of course, is
Not
where
many gods. There's one God.
one God, and this is why this is for probably one of those questions
Sure. Yeah.
deal, because a traditional Jewish person says, I cannot be a Christian because you worship three gods. And they don't understand that concept, which is a confusing concept.
Sure.
But they think that we're talking about three different gods. And yet a Christian will say, no, one God. In three persons, blessed Trinity. Anyway, so anyhow.
What they do is they just discard the peel and the seed and eat the orange. It's all still orange.
I've never heard of the orange or the yolk, and the egg. And,
None of those illustrations do.
No, the orange.
Yeah.
There's three parts to an orange.
Let's talk about the Trinity, an illustration, but that is way off track.
Where does the rind come in?
Where's the what?
The rind, the pith.
Oh, the rind.
Yeah, so there's four parts then for
Four gods. We worship four orange gods.
We're way off now.
Oh,
Never
my
mind.
soul. All right, well, we'll save that one. Oh, that was going to be a tough one anyway. But yeah, so, right. So the key on that one that tied it to the series was talk about these things when you get up, when you're out, and when you're on the road.
All the time.
Car conversations are great conversations. I didn't get a chance to get into that.
Oh, yeah.
So that lesson
about it.
last night for our meal that we had last night changed my prayer, because I thought it was a good lesson, Johnny.
Oh,
And
great.
like I
Thank you.
told you afterwards, thank you for making me feel
Make
like
you feel
a
bad.
parent, right?
That was my goal.
Yeah. No,
grace. Again,
Just kidding.
It's like, Lord, I got a message here, but what do I need to say to Tracy?
I would.
How can I make him feel bad?
Honestly, I don't think that, but it did. It changed the words that the prayer last night to try to speak a little more to that with Josh and Kathy, who weren't there because they were feeling Kathy was feeling ill enough. Josh just didn't go. So
Why you?
Josh.
Josh.
Calling him out on the podcast.
Josh.
We miss you, man. We love it when you're there.
Anyway,
Anyhow, I will say that
it made
reminded
an
me.
impact.
Oh,
was
good.
the point.
I'm so glad. It's a tough kind of message to do. And I'll just say right now, next Sunday, I have two different directions that I could go. One is to continue with what we started Sunday, but I think on one level, I feel like let's let this rest and simmer for a while and come back to it with a kids parenting series or something later. But I could finish it. And I have a message that is all about small and scary, how to keep your kids from becoming little monsters. So it's perfect for the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
But the other is to go to what's next in the Gospel of Mark. And it fits into the road trip series. If I title the message, The Highway to Hell. Dun, dun, dun. So I haven't decided. I appreciate your prayer. It's going to be one of those two.
Right before.
Either little monsters or it's going to be about hell.
So be praying for Johnny. He'll be cussing next week.
Well, I was going to type the message, what in hell is going on? But I felt like it might be a little too much.
Hey, Striper
So I'll
had
share it
something
here.
like that. Striper had a song to hell with the devil. Anyway,
Oh, my
it's
soul.
time to...
Okay, we got to wrap up. All I'll
we gotta
say is we had this issue. We didn't address this. We had this issue Sunday where there was no internet.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that had to do with the break. And so this might come back to haunt us again in the next break.
Oh.
So we will need to think and talk through that. But
Try to see if we can find the cause and then plan forward for that to, see if we can get
Yeah.
an exception to policy or something.
well, no, there was no internet.
Yeah.
I think they shut all internet down
No.
over the break for there at the school. So I mean, we may not have it. Period. No matter what.
I wonder how good a... Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Just want to put that in your head. But just to say that the solution for restreaming, I was so happy it worked.
Yeah?
Because I think I sent you a message that we were streaming, and
It's not
I didn't
popped
have to copy those files from the disk. I didn't have to create a new, rendered video that I then had to upload and whatever. None of that. I just took the thing from Sunday, went into OBS, started over, and put it as a scene. So after the countdown, I went straight to the video that was the replay of
Nice.
Sunday. Yes! So I started thinking this might be something we might want to do from time to time, and that is record it onto the drive, and then later in the day, stream the service again. There's nothing keeping me. The computer's going to be here, but I mean, we could stream it again on Monday night or
You'll
something.
you'll have the disc, so.
No, but what
that was
OBS
part of that
records.
Yeah, oh, gotcha.
And you can always take because we don't use the computer here.
I was going to say, it
podcasting.
might be something we do. I'll just have to keep moving files off of it and stuff so it doesn't fill up the disk. But I just thought that happened so easy. The only thing about it was I had to be there to monitor it a little bit and just let it play. And I could interact in the comments and stuff. So anyway, all right, we're out of time. Well, anyway, if you're in the Aurora area, you're definitely going to want to stop by next Monday night at Arkansas Elementary School because we're doing our annual Glow and Go station, which is going to be amazing. Tons of candy, tons of glow bracelets, balloons, and popcorn this year, which
Nice.
we didn't do last year.
Right.
But
All right.
by golly,
Is Dakota doing it?
she's excited about it, so that's
I
why
don't
we're doing it.
Thank you, Dakota.
Yeah, so anyway, all right, but anything before we go to our final words here, I'm going to do a quick spiel.
John 3:16. God
Thank
so
you.
loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
John 3:16.
There's no segue on that one.
Yeah, no segue, but there it is. We'll make sure it's always a part of our podcast. It's a huge part of our message as well anyway. But anyhow, we meet somewhere in the world every week, but always online. And you can find us on Facebook at Compass Church Colorado. And you can discover more at compassdenver.com. We'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday. All right, guys, final words.
Love you guys. Love everyone out there.
Likewise.
Grace and peace to you. That's all we have for tonight, and we are out.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We're out.